Good morning. How are you doing? Ready for high school next year? Awesome. Let me open this up with a word of prayer and then we'll get started. Heavenly Father, I thank you for this time. I thank you for these parents and the investment they are making in the lives of their children. Father, I pray for as they kind of travel through the end of 8th grade year here that their kids finish strong. But Father, as we prepare for high school, I pray that during this time you would just give us wisdom, give us discernment, give us understanding, and help us prepare for these next steps in this next stage in their children's lives. I pray all this in your Son's holy name. Amen. We'll start. Let us just introduce ourselves briefly. I am Josh Smith. I'm the... Maybe she was right slide. We could work together for a few. I'm Josh Smith. I'll be the boys' grade chair next year. I've been a grade chair for 3 years. And I've traveled with kind of one group of kids all the way from freshman year through junior year. And then I also am a high school Bible teacher. I coach cross country in the high school, and I coach middle school wrestling, sometimes JV wrestling, kind of go back and forth too. So I wear a couple of different hats. I've been at Wesleyan for this is going on my 7th year here, and yeah.
He also has a sweet baby in kindergarten.
It's true. I got a child in kindergarten, another one starting kindergarten next year, and hopefully another one starting in the elementary grade.
We are very much at opposite ends of the spectrum because my oldest is a senior, and his son, they walked in together for the senior chapel. It's very cute. Yes, so let's have a little group coming in. I'm actually staying back. This is my 15th year at Wesleyan. I've been teaching for 18 years. I teach Algebra 2, Algebra 3, and pre-calculus in high school. I've been a grade chair for 9 years. So I have done 9th, 10th, and 11th. I have not done 12th, which is fine. People let the grade chairs get them on out the door. And it has been a pleasure to this is our first year that our first class, we've got to rotate them all for 3 years. It used to be 9th and 10th, and then we dropped them off to the junior grade chair, and then they got dropped off. So we've got to have them through the college process, which has been awesome, and we have enjoyed it a great deal. I have a son that is a senior, so I'm in that college boat as a parent, and I have a daughter that is a junior, so I've gone back to back. Been trying to finish one up and start the next one. So I get the angst because I live in it. He'll feel it at some point. But in all honesty, he has listened to me beg so many times. I'm like, oh, I just wish you'd turn in a stupid application. Which you know, I'm just hit the deadline. So we just want to kind of give you the introduction to ninth grade, because I know even having taught in a high school, having my children venture in was a little worrisome, even though I did it every single day, just kind of understanding it from the parent perspective. So we're just going to talk through a few things. We've got slides for you. We've added a copy of the I made changes last time. So I'm going to let Josh talk for a while, and then I will jump in and I think finish up.
Sure. And then at the end, if you have any questions, we'll be happy to answer the questions you might have. Sound good? Okay. I want to start with first kind of this role, our role as high school grade chairs. Grade chairs serve as really this main line of communication between the faculty, the students, and the parents. We are kind of like, well, I'll get to this, I guess, on the next slide, like the students' parents here at school. We really want to shepherd these kids through their high school experience. We advise, we challenge, we encourage, we nurture the students, and really help them set goals and hopefully achieve those goals. We work kind of with a lot of people, but primarily with the principals and the department chairs to ensure the success of the students as they continue to trek through their high school progress. Here's our couple areas that we really focus on with the students. They're social, emotional, academic development in high school. Sometimes we are meeting with students in our office for academic reasons. Sometimes it's for various social reasons, because what you will see and what we notice is when they go from 8th grade to 9th grade, you'll see some of these friend groups that they might have had begin to kind of separate, and they might be going in a different direction. And that can be hard for some students because they're like, I've been friends with these people for so long, and then they're starting to be friends with these people, and there's these new students coming in, and they're just trying to figure things out, and it's going to be okay. They will be okay. But we have plenty of needs with the students for whether it's social, emotional, or academic reasons. But like I said, we're really like their parent at school, helping them transition from middle school into high school, and ultimately prepare to transition into college in the end. And really academically what we want to see is for them to take ownership of their academics. For them to be communicating on their own behalf, not having you guys communicate for them, because when they get into college, mom and dad are not going to be sending emails to the class.
We know it happens, and that's bad, but we hope they don't.
But the students hopefully will. So our academic areas that we particularly help them with, every winter, in the spring semester, we have a winter conference that runs about 45 minutes to an hour, where we'll go over some 4-year planning, talk about their current progress in their classes, the grades that they have achieved that semester, and the goals that they have for the following years. And Ashley will talk a little bit more about that. But we also help them with the registration, going through the AP and honor application process, and really stepping up in places of stepping up their rigor in the places where they can be most successful and challenge themselves. They've shown some success.
One thing to add in there, in middle school, y'all have a fall conference. There is no fall conference. Okay, now, that doesn't mean you cannot email us and say, I really need to talk to you about Sally because whatever. Fine, we would love to talk with you, but there is no fall conference. The conferences in high school are very much so run for the kid, and you just have to be, you're invited. We're inviting you to come along and help us and put in but we're really putting it back in the child's lap. But if you know there's something, please call us, because the more we know about what's going on at home or things you're concerned about, the better it is for us to help your child each and every day, where we pull them into the office. There are times when I've had an email from a parent where they're just really concerned, and I just happen to say, hey, how you doing? And I pull the child in just to kind of gauge how they're, and I never tell the child that the parent has contacted me. So we need you to communicate with us, but every year the freshman parents are like, when is our fall conference? I'm like, we don't have fall conferences, okay? So we have winter conferences that are for freshmen in February and March that you get to come to, but again, we will be focused on your child, saying, let's talk about how you did, let's talk about what you're going to do next year, and y'all are there as input. So just wanted to give you a heads up on that one.
Yeah. The quicker we get to know your children, the better, so that we can help them be as successful as possible. A little bit about our schedule. It's a little bit different than the middle school schedule. There are 5-hour-long classes in the day. There are some time for some margin, meaning like we have some flex periods where the students are able to sit and work on whether it's schoolwork or homework, or just sit and just kind of let their brain rest for a little while, because going through 5-hour-long classes can be a lot. There's a 7-day rotation, and so that means, starting the next Monday, you're going to have a different class that starts than the previous Monday, because we rotate through a 7-day schedule. But there are some breaks, clubs, activity time throughout the week. On Fridays, there's almost an hour-long club period, and there's a bunch of different clubs that they will be able to choose from. We have chapel on Thursday, just like middle school does. But it'll look a little bit different than the middle school schedule. Last thing for me, the test calendar. Our test calendar is a little bit different than high school. We don't publish a test calendar online. We keep a bulletin board in our office, so the students have a test calendar that is available to them. But the test calendar in the high school is an internal document. And this is our way of allowing the kids to take ownership of their academics, to stay organized, to know when their tests are coming up and preparing for them. Now, they are more than welcome to come up into our office, take a photo of that test calendar, and you guys are more than welcome to do that as well if you would like to know when those tests are coming up. Or just, you can ask your student, hey, when are your tests coming up in this class? If they struggle to keep up with their test,
you can always email us and say, hey, is there a test coming up in this class? I'm just trying to help, Johnny or Sally prepare for that test. But there are 5 major assessments that they are allowed in the week, only 2 in one day. And we monitor that, and we honestly also have to depend on the students to tell us that and communicate that with us. So if they have 3 assessments in one day, they communicate that with us. We email those teachers and work with scheduling one of those other tests for another day. There's no limit on minor assessments in the week, like quizzes or homework assignments, so they can have as many of those as necessary for the classes that they are taking, but only 5 tests in 1 week. And what you'll notice is when they get into sophomore year and on in AP classes, that limit kind of changes. But for next year, no AP classes for them, only 5. Each teacher communicates the date for their test, quizzes, and projects. They send us the test, and we put it on the test calendar. Like I said, we write it up in our offices, and then we also have a document that is in our Outlook that we take care of. But it's really, this is what I want to emphasize, it's a student's responsibility to advocate for themselves, to communicate with the teachers, to understand when those assessments are coming up, really take ownership of their academics.
We ask that they give us at least 24 hours ahead of time. So if they come the day of, they realize, I have 3 tests today, can I move on? The answer will always be no. No. If you do not plan ahead, we will not help you. But we tell them, if you can give us 24 hours ahead of time, we will absolutely work with your teachers and work with you, and we will move stuff around. But you have to know when your tests are and actually be proactive on it. Yes.
So the question is, do they go to the teacher first, or do they go to one of you first?
Our goal is for them to get to a point where we are not involved. But they are scared to death when they come into high school to talk to their teacher, because for some reason their teacher is out to get them in some way. Like, the best 9th grade team that bends over backwards to, because what they don't know behind the scenes when they request, some teachers request a test, we go, no, it's a terrible week for the freshmen, you cannot have that. We try and keep biology and history in 2 different weeks. So they don't know behind the scenes what's going on. We start with them coming to us, and we kind of tell them, okay, now this is what you need to do, let's talk through the situation, we'll help you work through it so they kind of understand the steps. And then we want to get them to a point where they never even tell us. And our juniors now are like, they never come and talk to us unless it's we don't know how we want to move it, which would be the best option kind of thing. So we want them to start taking ownership. But when they first start, they should come to us so we can help them use the appropriate language. Instead of going, you have to move my test, I have 3 tomorrow. I'm like, that's really not going to go over well with the teacher. But to start with us, help us guide. Projects, major projects, not just I'm going to do a 3-page PowerPoint and that doesn't count. Major essays, and then tests are the ones that we definitely try and shuffle.
So that leads to a follow-up question. What if they're involved in an outside activity, in sports, and in this school? Who do they go to? The teacher? Do they go to you?
And so we really want them to first communicate with the teacher, but we always say, hey, CC us on those communications. If you're doing it through email, hopefully it's a face-to-face conversation. But they should begin with the teacher. If they have any questions about that process, then we are here to advise them and help them kind of schedule that and also be communicating with the teachers. Honestly, in the freshman year, we're involved in a lot of that process. But the goal is to transition to, hey, I'm communicating ahead of time with the teacher that, hey, I got playoffs coming up. I'm going to be missing your classes because of this, whether it's this performance, this playoff, whatever it might be. And they're communicating with the teachers a couple days ahead of time so they can get that rescheduled with them.
There's also forms they have to fill out. So let's say if it's an athletic event, the coaches are very good going, you must fill out the athletic form and turn it in 2 days before. That is all the teachers plus the grade chair. So for athletics, if it's something where they know for certain, for whatever reason, they're going to be gone, there's another form, and they're all different colors. Lori Strong in the high school office is the same because she tells the kids every single time, take the orange one, take the pink one, I don't even know all of the colors. But if it's a pre-planned absence and we know ahead of time, they are responsible for going to get the form. They take the form to all the teachers, and the teachers tell them what they're missing, and then we confirm, and then Joe Koch says it's an excuse, and it's a process. But again, they slowly learn that process, and we If it's unplanned, if something just happens, we need to know what's going on, and we will encourage them to email their teachers and say, not planned, totally missing your class, what am I missing? And then the teacher will provide kind of the homework assignments and what they're missing.
Right, and those pre-planned absence forms, they go to all their teachers first before we sign off on it. So we're able to look at every assignment they are missing and have conversations with like, hey, you know you're missing a test. Have you just spoken with that teacher about when you're gonna take that test that you're gonna miss? We have those conversations before they leave. If it's something like a major issue, like they got really sick or a concussion, and they're under concussion protocol, then we are part of that process of helping them schedule all the makeup assignments, because those can, when they really start to pile up, like can be like really hard to kind of like, all right, we want to spread these out, make sure that, you know, they're making up the work that they've missed, but also continue to kind of move forward in the classes as well. Okay,
Does that help?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, freshman year, we try and walk with them. Sometimes they're not wanting to walk with us, and we just kind of like, oh, you have to walk with us, we have to help you, and they'll miss a form here, and we'll, okay, so this is what we should have done. And so ninth grade is just transitioning into, okay, what do I have to do in high school? And the difference between first semester and second semester, it's night and day. It's not like night and day when they're walking out the door as a senior graduating, but we'll take the little bit of improvement that we get every single semester.
But it's true, as knowing these kids that we have now as juniors and what they were like as freshmen.
And I've known this because my daughter's in this class, so I've known this class since kindergarten and watched them.
I mean, in a couple of years, it really is, I mean, they step into our office for a conversation about, hey, I got this, this, and this coming up, if they need help with it. But they're really great about communicating with their teachers and handling a lot of their absences and communicating ahead of time on their own, which is great because we want them to feel comfortable going up to their professors in college and communicating with them. We don't want them to step into a class and be scared of approaching that person that is teaching them. And we've heard a lot from our alumni that, like, I'll go and talk to my professor, talk about my assignments, talk about what's coming up. And there's a lot of people in my class that are like, what, you are going to go talk to him or her? And they're really comfortable with doing that.
Okay, so big question. I'm going to use my notes. So if I forget something, I'm like, no, I have a question I want you ask. This is the email that Jeff Plunk sent out, and I think everybody got it. To the middle, did y'all get the email from Mr. Plunk as well? Some people are saying yes.
It was a while ago.
Yeah, it was like in January. Yeah, it was a while ago. We are changing the way we're reporting grades. But if you'll notice what I tried to highlight more than anything, it's not a major one. It's actually a really minor one. Really minor, but everybody's a little confused on how it's happening. I have a senior that has to use the old system. I have a junior that's using the new system, and honestly, I like the new system better. So my son's just gonna have to keep those letters, and my daughter will benefit from the new way we're doing it. So I just want to go through his email so we can kind of talk through a little bit, show you what it looked like before, so what it currently is now, because we don't have current transcripts, because they don't exist, okay? Because we gotta get the seniors out the door first before we can actually generate new ones. So we're gonna talk through, so any questions y'all have along the way, just let me know. But first thing is, we're gonna go from letter grades, so you no longer have an A, you have a 92. Okay, so we're switching. So I don't know what an A is, but I know what a 92 is. Okay, so we're trying to make it a little clearer to colleges, clearer to any organization that needs to see the trade, honestly clear to the kids, because sometimes we're like, an A, that's between a 93 and a 96, which one did they get? So we're trying to make it clear, so you get number grades. Again, not a major change at all. So what we're doing is, when we would actually report grades, historical grades, you would see a number, and then you would see a corresponding letter. Now all you're going to see is the number. Okay, so the child doesn't have to do anything different. They're still working really hard in all their classes. The way that teachers assign the grades is exactly all the same. The only thing that's gone is the letter. The letter has disappeared. Let's see. Students still get their 8 points for taking an AP class. They still get their 4 points for taking an honors class. Again, still hasn't changed. Let's see what else was on there. On the transcript, what we used to have is we would have, because we were GPA focused, we had like a 3.742 and all of that. So we would have on the old one, the unweighted and the weighted, and then the unweighted numerical. Okay, well, all the unweighted and weighted GPA stuff gone. And so now what we're seeing is the unweighted, which doesn't have the honors and AP points in it, and the weighted, which does, numerical. So you'll see like a 93.7 and a 95.6. So those are the numbers. So we're getting letters go on, only numbers. Okay, anything that's on a 4.3, that we don't care anymore. Several reasons for why we're doing it is because we were kind of one of the last schools to kind of transition away from that. So we're really trying to get in line and do the best practices of the schools around us, which is what a lot of our kids are compared to. So we're trying to get in line with that, but we're also trying to be transparent for the colleges, because they're looking at it going, wait, an A is between a 93 and a 96, but you're telling me they got an A, so is that a 93 or is that a 96? So we're just trying to be as transparent as possible for our kids to put them in the best light for when they go into the college process. Okay.
So actually, really
Yeah.
quick, so let me just transfer from
Okay.
there, just looking at. So if Ian has like in this case, he had an 87 numeric
And
in
you flip
class.
to the next one, because I think I'm going to point with what she's got.
Okay, so like an 87 in the class. But
You got a
it
B
was,
plus.
yes, but it was an honors class, so it says an A on his current transcript. It'll still be recorded as an 87, but the weighted the weighted average will have the extra 4 points.
Yes.
That's what it is. Okay.
Yes. Okay, so I'm hoping I can actually write this. He doesn't love to write with these. Okay, so this is the old stuff, and I see some of my mamas in here where as freshmen I tried to explain this, and they're like, what? Took a couple of years to explain it. So honestly, I'm
glad it's
this
over.
thing is gone.
And this is honestly,
Yeah.
like, for our kids, this right here was a stressor for them.
Yes.
Because we had conversations, and you might, if you sat in conferences with us where we talked about, now you made a 92 in a class, what does that mean? You were 1 point away from that 93, which means it's a difference between a 2.7, a 3.7 and a 4.0. And it's just like, that one extra point means so much. And so there's these invisible cliffs for students that where it was like, you were dropping 0.3 in this GPA, and they were not only worried about like the letter, but the number and another number, and it was just like, we're going to simplify it, get rid of these invisible cliffs, and so a 92 is a 92.
Which is good, but
Like
they
that's-
thought it was bad. They're like, oh, we got a 92.
Right.
Wait, the 92 is really good. Like, that's really good. But we kept saying, it grades ending in 2 6s and 9s. Those are bad.
And it's really funny when you say, they got a 96 in a class.
They're like, oh,
There's
there's
like-
96. Like, no, that's really good.
And it's like, I can't believe I'm having this conversation, but I want you to realize the reality of like kind of this GPA. So I'm happy, and for our kids and for us, that this GPA scale is going away. And it's just like, do the best you can in your class, here's the number you get for that class. Because that's what matters.
So let's talk through a scenario. This is so the current class of 2020, this is what, and I only took their senior year, I couldn't get the whole thing on there, sorry. This is what their senior year looks like, and then this was what the bottom looks like. So you would have had their junior year, their sophomore year, their freshman year, all the way up to the top. Okay, so you'll notice this is semester 1, this is semester 2, so we have letters. So in AP English, they have an A- per semester. That includes the 8 points. So a college who gets our school profile, they see this on the transcript. They were saying A-, the 90 to a 92, or 90 to a 92. Okay, did they get a 90 or a 92? Okay, so it was like they didn't really know. And some colleges, not all of them, will recalculate the GPA. And they have their own strategy, their own way of weighting things. So some would say, okay, well, we're going to give them a 90, take out the 8 points. So in their calculation, they got an 82. Okay, well, if they would have had a 92 and they took off 8, we've lost 2 points for them. So they wouldn't tell us what their calculation was. So we were kind of, in giving them an A-, putting them in this no man's land of, well, I don't know what it means. So this had the honors points in it that some schools backed out. Some schools didn't. Some schools were like, yeah, I really like that number right there. We're just going to run with it. We don't know which schools are doing that, so what we want to do is set up our kids to be as marketable as possible, as transparent as possible. So what you're going to see now, I'm going to say that this was test trials. This in a child. The test student is what we call them. Test student got a 90, so that means they had an 82 in the class. So you would see an 82 here. But then they did a really good second semester, they ended up with a 96 because they pulled it out, so then they have an 88 here. So you see that all the way down. You still see the P's for passing, that you don't get a grade for that. But all the way down, you now will see a number. Okay, so now down at the bottom, you no longer have the 3-point blah, 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 because it doesn't exist anymore. And what was bad about that is we were taking a number, converting it to a letter, which then got converted to a number, and then calculated like, so there were some of my sweet babies, I swear they were the best at hitting 2, 6s, and 9s. Like I was like, we need to go to Vegas because you were picking numbers. But what they were doing, like some of them we would calculate, they would have lost at least a point in their GPA calculation.
Yeah.
For like tenths of a point, I'm really sorry. Like I don't know what to tell you, other than I'm so sorry. So this saves them in that they're not losing GPA points. Now, the new transcript, I showed you just have the awesome numbers. Down at the bottom, you will never see the GPA. Okay, so you're going to see weighted, I guess average. I don't know if they called it average. Oh, wow, you did that. That was, make it go back. Make it go back. Weighted average, and then unweighted average. Okay, so they're going to see both. But they're going to see it as a 90.4.
I'm not doing anything, I promise you.
You are.
Go ahead.
Doing this to me. A 90.48.
It'll be 100.
90.48, and then you see the weighted, which would be like a 92 point whatever, because the 4 points and the 8 points get calculated here. You don't see it here because they were backing it off anyway. So now we're just going to be transparent and say, oh, here's their number. This is what they have. But they see down here. And all of our school profiles said we give 4 points for honors, we give 8 points for 8. Like we were very honest with everything we were doing. So now we're making it a whole lot easier for them to decide what number do we want to use. Okay, and this is specifically what my child made. So from our perspective, it has not changed for the kid at all. Go into your class, do the best you can, get the highest grade you can in the class, and then it will all work out like it's supposed to. Now, some people are like, okay, that means they should not take honors and AP classes. Nope, they absolutely should take those classes if appropriate for them. Okay, I have 2 children that did not take an excessive amount of honors and APs because it was not appropriate for them. So they have slowly worked their way through, and they've kind of gotten to a point where, like, okay, they're taking more. But it has not been something where, like, you must take this many honors and this many APs, or you're never going to get a college. No, no, no. Colleges are going to look at 3 things. They're going to look at your child's GPA. Yes. Okay, they can look at the one that actually includes painting and Bible and all of these other classes, or they may say, I don't want to hear about painting. And they just look at the 5 core classes, okay? So they're gonna totally recalculate it anyway, throwing out the classes that they don't. Some will keep it, it just depends, right? So again, take the most rigorous course that is appropriate for you to where your GPA is really good. Don't overload, because then you kind of come down on a cliff, and now your GPA goes down, you're like, but I took that honors. I'm like, there's a nice little balance. So they look at what is your numerical average, your level of rigor. They want to see certain honors and AP classes, okay? That's just kind of what they're looking for, and then your standardized test scores. So if you have, I can't say we haven't had sweet darlings that have said, no, I want the 100 average, and so there should be an honors class. It's like, I would rather get a 98 in a standard class, and instead of pushing myself in honors, I'm like, okay, well, the colleges are going to see that. Like, all these honor standard classes, you were getting 98, 99s in, and I mean, like, why did they try honors? Because their grade is saying they should be in an honors class. Now, we also don't want it to be opposite, where we put you in honors class, and then you're getting like a 74, because then I'm like, okay, now you're misplaced. So it's one of those, we want to find what is the sweet spot on the number of honors classes you should be in. They also want to see that you started freshman year, and then every year you put a little bit more rigor in your schedule. And so you have like an exponential curve. curve and you were doing really well. Now, what we try and tell some of our kids is they're, like mine, they were not honors and AP kids. They just weren't. But rigor isn't just honors and AP. It is taking more than what you need to graduate. So you only need 3 science classes to graduate. If you took 4, you added rigor to your schedule, whether it was honors or AP or at all. I have some students who are amazing at languages. So starting in their junior year, they started doubling up on languages. Wasn't at the honors level, but they loved language. That is adding rigor to your schedule because you only have to take 3 years, but now they're taking 5 and it's 2 different languages. So it's one of those where in our winter conference, we spend a great deal of time trying to balance everything out because we want your child to sleep, we want your child to do extracurricular activities, we want your child to be a child, okay? And so we're relying on y'all to look at your kid and go, seriously, you're up 3 o'clock every night. This is stupid. Like, you cannot do this. You're stressed out. Why are you not telling them you're stressed out? And then we can levelize the load, okay? Because they're kids. We want them to go and experience their high school and enjoy it, but we also want them in the right classes that challenge them so that they are the most marketable child for the schools they think they want to go to. Okay, there are 3,000 is what the college council says, schools out there. There's some amazing schools out there that our kids don't apply to, and we just want to make sure that as many doors are open for them as we can possibly get for them. One other question. Hope GPA, not on here, because we have no control over the Hope GPA. What we will have y'all do, as freshman parents, is we will be asking for your child's social security number. And no, it is not so that I can go shopping and everything. It is so that we can get them linked up with a site called Georgia Futures. Georgia Futures is where you go to look at your child's Hope GPA. We have nothing to do with that other than providing them at the end of fall and spring their transcript, okay? And then they do their calculations and you have like their GPA sitting there. So you can see it from freshman year to junior year, all the way up if your child is like mine, tiptoeing between, I have it, I don't have it, I have it, I don't have it. Okay, so you know all along instead of waiting until their senior year. So it's not on our official document, but we will have y'all getting all of that set up and kind of pushing you in that direction.
Is that new?
Yes, it is new.
Well,
Okay, we didn't have access to both as seniors till the fall until the.
so they used to do it in their junior conference. That's when they waited to do it, and then they were like, well, why don't we just have, this information for freshmen so that at the end of fall freshman year, they can track where they stand with Hope as they move forward.
So your freshmen got their uploaded transcripts in the spring as well? Okay, cool.
And one thing, when you set up Georgia Futures, please make sure you use the same name that is on your child's transcript and on their social security card. So if they have a fun little nickname or whatever, it becomes very hard to connect, and there's just a lot of admin. So your child's transcript name, so the official one at Wesleyan, your child's social security number, and the thing that you use on Georgia Futures should all be the same. Or it becomes a lot of admin for a lot of people trying to connect and everything.
So the additional 4 points and 8 points, which I'm assuming is really big for the kids,
It's very big.
going forward, you won't see that anywhere
You see it
except in
here.
the one weighted average, so you don't even see it on the individual classes anymore.
Now, the kids know what their grades are. And I'll be honest with you, I don't know what the report card will look like. I think the report card will still show that they got their 4 points and 8 points for that class in the report card, but because we don't have any of those documents yet, because we gotta get the seniors out the door, I cannot say
But
that.
transcript different than the report card in
Yes.
terms of format.
Yes.
Right.
The report card looks like a semester snippet of the historical grades that you will see, but yeah, the transcript
It's
is.
like a progress review.
I have a question about, because we have seniors, I know this from Ian telling me when he was applying. So they self-report their grades in Common App or whatever portals that, are all different. So when we have to self-report now, we have to self-report unweighted. Is that what I'm hearing?
I think it depends on the school. Like the school will tell you, some want both, some want unweighted, some, like it just really depends on what the school specifically wants.
But it's by course. You have to self-report based on your transcript.
Again, it will be will help the kids process it. Because there are some schools that are like, no, I still want the 3-point blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So the college advisor literally sits down with them and is like, okay, so either explains to the child how to do it, or does it for them and says, this is your 4.0 equivalent GPA, and the Common App's pretty straightforward, but there are specific schools where you're like, hey, no, we have to do it our way, and they'll ask you specifically, and the college advisors kind of help the kids process through how to do it. So it just depends, like every school is deciding to do it their own way.
I guess my point is now that we're reporting, when you have your unofficial report, this one showed weighted and unweighted on it, so you could say, I'm gonna pick weighted, because we're allowed to, and then, so you self-report your weighted, and then you had your unweighted, so you can self-report it. In this case, it's just gonna be unweighted. So self-reporting your weighted is not gonna look at your transcript.
Right.
Okay, so let's have to figure that out.
And really what we try to encourage kids is the only thing that's in your control as you move forward is doing the best you possibly can on that next assignment, studying for that next test, turning in that next piece of homework, like looking at this, like trying to get this specific number of grades. We have goals, we want to achieve those goals. But I mean, you can't magically make a 90 average appear. The only thing that's going to do that is just walk into that class being prepared each and every day. And so, like, just helping the students understand, like, this is all that's in your control. It's just going and doing the best you possibly can in that class. That's it. You put forth that effort, the rigor will come. If you experience success in that class, you know, you experience success there, you have the rigor, great. And then, I mean, the class will take care of themselves, the recommendations will take care of themselves, college will take care of itself. All you can do as a student is the best you possibly can. If you're giving maximum effort in every class, and that maximum effort, I mean, for certain subjects is a B or is a below B, then, I mean, you're giving maximum effort. You're trying the best you can. I myself, I was terrible at math. I finished math in college algebra. It was great. It's just like, give me the lowest math you can possibly give me so I can get this credit and get out.
So sad.
I know. But that's why I ended up teaching Bible. And so, I was never that math kid. And my maximum effort in math would have never been an A+ effort, or an A effort. Even though I studied really hard, I went to Sweet Ladies in a learning center, and they retaught me the work every time at my school, and it was great, and they helped me so much. But you know what? It just did not click with me. And so I tried really hard, but that B+, and that B+, I worked really hard for it. For some students, that's okay. We want them to understand that that's okay. That, hey, guess what? You might not be great at math, but like, you're great in all these other classes, and let's focus on figure out what you're really good at, so that you can pursue that in college. So that's all they can control. Like these grades and how we're reporting it, they're still going to be getting graded the same. That's not changing at all. So they're going to get the grades that they deserve. That's really all they can control.
Well, I think, I just want, currently in middle school, they're tracking the grades in Blackbaud, it's numeric, and they see the overall and individual possession.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's
Yep.
just that, I mean, this conversation is really basically for those people who have experienced an alternative method.
Yep, it's gonna be the same. It's all numeric. You can still see the progress in every class.
And in
As
Blackbaud,
reported.
the grade that the child, let's say they have honors English, I don't know why I'm gonna take honors English, but there are some people out there. On Blackbaud, it shows the unweighted. So as you see your child's grade, and they're like, sweet, they have a 92, that's really a 96, is an honors class. So in Blackbaud, it is straight up what you have earned, what it will pop up on the transcript as well. So that is all very transparent on what you're gonna see.
So what's the point of the formulated points?
Well, honestly, because they earned them. They're down, when you write the weighted numerical, it shows. And so colleges want to see the rigor, but they know we give the points, and for their GPA for the weighted, they've earned those 4 and those 8 points, so that's where it's showing up.
And the fact that they took the class, that's the biggest part.
Yes.
Well, no, I get that, I understand that, but I guess I just don't understand
Why you're still getting.
why we're still giving the points, or not giving the points. It makes no sense.
Where does it show?
It shows in one place, it shows.
It shows.
And who sees that?
So down here, they will see that, like, there'll be two, there'll be a
That's what
weighted
they plug in.
GPA, there'll be an unweighted GPA. Some colleges will take the weighted GPA.
But that includes everything that's gotten a grade, right?
So
All, not
this is,
just the four.
yeah, this is everything, this is everything. So it just depends, like some colleges will say they'll take that GPA, some will look at the unweighted, and they will sometimes get their own 0.5 based on the fact that they took a rigorous AP class. I mean, I wish I could say every single college is the same, but they don't, and that's what makes it really hard. But like we give 4 and 8, some schools give 5 and 10, some schools give 15 for AP classes, which is why in many cases some schools will pull it out so they can levelize kids, because honestly I don't think it's fair that we give 8 and someone else gives 15, that to me is not fair. So I like that we give both, because it shows that what their average would be with the points that we give, so they can kind of do equalizing with our kids here, but also it shows so they can equalize with kids outside. This is what they earn without the points.
Most high schools have, I would say 90%.
I would say probably even more than that.
I guess my question then really is, do the schools, the peer schools, or whoever our kids are competing with, on their transcripts, do they reflect unweighted numerical averages?
So the great thing about the way colleges do it is they compare your child at the school in the context of the school that they go to. They're not looking at your child in the context of all the schools in Atlanta, like compared to this person at this other school, this person at this other school. Look at your child within the context of their school. And the rigor that was available to them, the classes that were available to them, because it wouldn't be fair if here, where we say, you're only allowed to take this many APs this year and this year and this year, and other schools were just like, you can take whatever APs you want, as many as you want, and do it, and they have more freedom. Like, it would be fair to, compare both those kids, because they had 2 different high school experiences. And so when they're looking at your school, if we're kind of fast forwarding to the college advising process, they're looking at your child in the context of their school, what was available to them, how they were graded, and how they were assessed, and their ability at that school. And so it's always within the context of that school, not compared to other schools.
I don't know about that.
So you're only seeing the weighted at the end of a semester? Is that when the only time the number
Yeah, the
comes up?
historical grade report, which is what you will see at the end of the semester, will also, it'll look similar to this, but it will have the weighted and the unweighted as well. So we will completely transition to showing you the weighted and the unweighted numerical starting next year.
But if we wanted to check in on our kids, say at mid-semester, as we look at Blackbaud, we might only see the 82. We won't see it as a 90, as we just kind of in our mind have to be like, oh, no, they actually have more points.
If you're
Okay.
working down the scrolling in each class and the semester has not ended, then no, you do not see the points. But when the historical grade report is run, there's programming behind it that says they've earned the 4 points, they've earned the 8 points. And so on that document,
Those are
you
the
will
ones that'll
see,
show.
yeah, and you'll see it down here. Okay, and I'll be honest with you, I haven't seen a new historical grading report. I'm going off of what I was told. I know we talked a ton more about the transcript so that we could kind of be clear in our junior conference. We had kind of a Excel spreadsheet mock-up to try and help explain to our junior parents. It's going to look a little different than that, but that's where you'll see the points.
I think an important thing is what you said, Josh, about the effort that the child gives, and they can give their best effort in the old system and get a 96 and feel like they have not given their
Yes.
best effort. And so a 96 is best effort.
It is good.
And so that, it takes all of that away, I feel like. I think it's a great change.
Well, a lot of
For the
kids that
kids.
had 92s were going back to the teacher saying, can I have one more point?
Yes.
Can I have one more point? That's a 0.3 GP point. And it was adding a great deal of stress for the kid and for the teacher. She's like, a 92 is still a great grade. And so it's just one of those, like, it was hard to see a kid's GPA be so much lower because of tenths of a point. And you're like, okay, that's not fair. So we love it because it's going to take some stress off the kids, a lot of stress off the kids. Okay, so every conference, and so kind of some of my moms will recognize, we go through in the conference what the college counseling office expects you to be doing in the 9th grade, in the 10th grade, in the 11th grade. And we put the whole bullet points for 9th through 12th on a sheet of paper, and Josh and I fold it. Like, this is 9th grade, this is all you can focus on, so stop stressing out about everything else. So this is what we focus on with them. 5 core classes: math, science, history, I'm gonna forget one, foreign language,
English.
Right, I took like 2 Englishes at Tech. I'm like, yeah, I think I took it on, but it's like easy to forget. Regardless of what year you're in, this is like the #1 thing, because colleges want to see 5 core classes. Doesn't have to be honors, doesn't have to be AP, this is great, but it's 5 core classes, even if they're not required. So you only have to do 3 histories, but if you can throw in another history, or you may love math, and you may throw in an extra math, so you've got 3 histories and 5 math. So they're looking for 5 core classes.
And a way that you can show rigor if you were like me in high school and did not take a single AP class is, and I think you mentioned this before, is, well, you only need 3 sciences, or you only need 3 years of foreign language. Taking that 4th year is saying to colleges, like, listen, I'm going to continue to challenge myself, instead of taking, no offense to this class at all, lifetime activities, or like PE for seniors, you know, my senior year. I'm going to take 4 years of foreign language, which I will say is becoming less and less and less, and colleges are noticing that. I mean, I think it's really important moving forward that some of these classes that students are electing to only take 3 years of, when you could take 4 years of it, we have that possibility. For some of those standard kids, that's rigor right there. Like, yeah, you're not going to take the AP class, but hey, I'm going to choose to take that extra science class, that extra foreign language class, and not just say, hey, I'm going to go to the senior year. Because really what you want to show colleges is, I'm not letting my foot off the gas. I'm ready to be in your institution, I'm here to work, I'm ready to be a good student. And so that's a way to show rigor, even if you're just all the way to standard classes.
Now, luckily, as freshmen and sophomores, they have a choice. So they will have the 5 core classes, and we will be trying to help them levelize everything from honors and AP. A lot of middle school parents that I talk to are like, my child is recommended for every honors class. Should I take all 5? And immediately my response is, no, because that kind of freaks me out. They're coming into high school brand new. The honors classes, they're hard. You're earning the 4 points. Like, you are earning those 4 points. So there are some, but there's always that one kid, they're like, I got it. And they do. They're like, I got all 5, I'm good to go. You know your job. You know how much time they're spending studying. Like, you get to speak into that and go, you've got to be kidding me, you're not taking all 5. That's crazy. Because we also are trying to squeeze in health. We're trying to squeeze in their fine arts. You've got some Bibles that we need to squeeze. So it's not like I've got 5 more classes, that there's other stuff that we're trying to work into their schedule. So you know your child. If you're like, there's no possible way you can do 5, then tell them no. That doesn't mean that if they don't take honors English their freshman year, that they will not get to take AP English their senior year. You can still earn the recommendation when you're in high school. So if you come in and you take English in 9th grade and your teacher's like, what are you doing in this honors class? Your writing is amazing and your literary analysis is amazing. You can earn the recommendation to get an honors English, right? You don't have to take that recommendation. You may say I'm a math science kid and thank you that my writing's great. Or then you can jump up your sophomore year into another honors class. So we've had students who came in and took all 5 honors classes, did not do well, lost the honors recommendation in some of those classes, and then had to dip down in their rigor, which looks worse to colleges than saying, I'm going to take 2 seems reasonable to me, my freshman year, and then my sophomore year I'm going to move up to 3, and then my junior year I'm going to throw in like a couple APs, and they do their rigor up, and by the time they're a senior, they've got 7 APs overall, and like their GPA is amazing, and they did exactly it the right way. I know my kids, and with your child gets behind you, you have to make that call. And we will happily sit down and do 4-year plans with you if you want us to kind of help you put the puzzle pieces together. That's what we do every single year in our conferences. But know your child and help them regulate the classes, because there's a lot that they're going to be doing in high school that they don't have in middle school. A lot of fun things that we want them doing, a lot of freedom, but just keep that in mind. It makes me nervous when we have kids that take 5. One of the, when we talked about the winter conference, help them prepare for their college applications, which seems really, really weird. We will have them start what we call a resume, and it's in Naviance. It's just a software package that they have to go to. And honestly, it's just us trying to get them to create a list of all the stuff that they have done outside of school. What extracurriculars did they do? What they do over the summer? Were they a camp counselor? Did they have an internship? Are they in Boy Scouts? Are they, like, just start in freshman year? And they laugh at us. We're like, you're not going to remember what you did in your freshman year or your sophomore year when you're a senior filling out those college applications. Just start writing it down. So if you can have a back in Excel document going, and they'll say, I don't need to write that down. And our response was, I don't know if you need to write it down or not, just write it down. Right? Just keep a tally so that when it's time to do the college application, you know, yeah, I have been doing, I don't know, babysitting every year, and this is how many, because they'll ask hours, and you've done it, so just, they have time that we give them to do it, and we put them in their Naviance rooms, but a lot of times they don't think about, oh, yeah, I did do that. Oh, yeah, I do. Oh, I do that at church. Oh, I do that. Like, just help them. Please help them. It makes their life easier. Please have them do something fall of their freshman year extracurricularly. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's a club. I don't care if it's a sport. I don't care if it's theater. I don't care. But when Josh said friend groups split, they split because kids are involved in an activity that the child that's like, wait, I don't have where are my friends? They're not involved in an activity in the fall. That's when we usually have the biggest issues where my child used to have a friend group of 8 and now she has no one to hang out with and I don't know what to do. And I'm like, well, what is she doing in the fall? Well, nothing. We decided we're really going to focus on academics and we're going to not do anything extracurricular. I'm like, that's not good. It's not good. Now, I'm not saying spend an activity where you're doing 600 hours on, don't do that. But they need to be involved in something. I don't care what it is. Please, 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 freshmen let them be involved in something so they have a home base, so they have a friend group, so they don't feel like they're lost and they don't have any friends anymore.
And it can be anything from a sport to a club and just something outside of the classroom. Cross country, no cut sport. Yeah. Between boys and girls, there's about 140 kids out there. And for a high school, it's around 500. That's pretty incredible. But we have a lot of fun. We, keep those kids engaged.
But they're involved.
And it is just, it's a great group of kids to be a part of if they have nowhere else that they land. And it also, it puts them in a group that is over a quarter of the school is out there every single day. So if they're really struggling to find a place where they connect, come out to cross country, we would love to have it.
It's like English to me. I don't want to run.
There is a summer camp for that.
There is a summer camp that we go to, that happens at the end of July. If you're thinking cross country, that would be a great place for them to start. Those spots fill up very quickly. I think we take 98 kids. And I don't know exactly where that list stands right now. Chad McDaniel, our head coach, would know that number. But if you're thinking about cross country and you would like them to go to that camp, and I've been on most of the trips that Wesleyan offers. I think that trip is one of the best trips you can go on. We do it every year.
You run this much and you play in the water park now.
We'll reveal all of our secrets. But yes.
I'll give a comment for cross country. Our middle child said that was by far the best thing about high school. So if your kid is thinking about that, if they don't have another sport, I know there's cheer, there's football, softball, but such a cool place and such awesome coaches. So.
A lot of them say, everything's great except the running. They're involved. Like that's it. You'll minimize the, I have no friends, freak out of, oh my gosh, if they do something in the fall.
That's the main part, is that they just get involved in something. And it will be really helpful. If all they do is come here, go to class, and leave, the
start with us in the summer, then, which is completely optional. But we run here on campus all summer long. And we've had some ninth graders, rising ninth graders in the past come out and run with us. And they're really easy, usually about 30-minute runs. Just right
What are you
on
done?
campus. But it starts in like beginning of school, beginning of August, usually kind of during our pre-planning phase, which is like just early August, and goes to, this year our state is November 1st. First and second. However, most of the team, if they don't make a region or state team, will end about 3 weeks before that. So it'll be about the first week of October.
So it's nice it rolls into another sport at that time, so you can work with that.
Yeah. So if they don't make the state or region and state team, then they'll be done right around the first week of October. And then that's usually when the winter sports are just about kicking up right then.
And practice is right after school, so.
Practices right after school, 3:20 every single day. And some days on the weekends. So we don't have meets.
Yeah.
Okay. Talk about the 4-year planning. This is what we use as our document when we sit down in our conferences. And I know we have sat down with 8th grade parents in the past and walked through some stuff. Happy to do it if necessary, but you can look at it where we're saying physical science is thrown in the 8th grade. Okay, for Wesleyan kids, that's not a big deal. It's really the outside students that we have to make sure they have it. But we'll literally, in their winter conference, we will sit down and talk about what they did in 9th grade. And then we force them to think about 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade, which kind of freaks them out. They're like, I don't know what I want to do my senior year. I'm like, well, if you don't have goals, how do you know how you're going to get there? So, English you have to do 4 years of. Sorry. Math you have to do 4 years of, but we can always squeeze in another one if you want that. Science you need 4, but that one of them comes from physical science in 8th grade. But this is where we're always saying, take another. And it's not, you don't do the APs. There's really cool electives. There's anatomy, forensics, robotics. I'm
We don't have robotics
forgetting.
anymore.
We don't have robotics
That's-
anymore. I think
that's
it's
in our-
planned
that's
out
in our
STEM.
Yeah.
Marine science, astronomy. There's some really cool ones if your child's like, I do not want to do AP, but you still want to be involved. Social science, fancy way of saying history plus econ. Another, like there's some electives in there where kids can get involved and you can take more. NCLs, foreign language, again, that's we're saying take 4, but they only have to take 3. So we will work through this with them, and every year we look at it. We're like, this is a living, breathing document, and our juniors this year, you're like, do we have to do this again? And we're like, no, you're done. But trying to get them to think through, what do you want to do? Do you have the goal of taking AP Cal? Well, great. That means we need to get on the honors track. We got to figure out how we're going to do that. Trying to make them say, what does my 4 years look like? With guidance from us, guidance from you, guidance from their teachers. Yes, ma'am.
Will the STEM classes be considered electives or science electives?
They are
They're electives for right now.
right now.
Okay.
For right now.
And so if you know your student is going to be a 4-year, like, hey, this person's going to do STEM all 4 years, then have them take online health over the summer. And have them take 2 Bibles next year as well. And then you can kind of piece out their fine arts as well. They need at a minimum take online health. They probably need to get their PE credit on the athletic field somewhere too.
How many weeks is the online health?
9.
9 weeks?
If you can squeeze it in, I think a minimum of 7. Yes,
Does
ma'am.
the science grade from math go with them to high school? Or do they just get
Science? No, not the grade. You just get a P.
You just get a pass.
On the transcript, it says P. We're like,
Okay, and then, okay, so the Bible credits, that's not 3 years, that's 3 classes?
it's 3 years. So this is 6 classes.
6, okay, gotcha.
6 classes. Okay. Which drives the kids crazy. They're like, I'm like, credits are coming in full 1, and Bible is a
That was a
half.
half credit. for-
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you know your child is band, chorus, STEM, art, like if you know that there's something that they're going to do those all through high school, call us and like we'll sit down and say, okay, how can we make this work? my son is art, my daughter is music, and so it's been fun trying to figure out how to cram everything in and get the puzzle pieces to work. But if you start here, you usually can get the puzzle pieces to work really well. If you wait till here, it's like, I can't do anything to help you. So if you know your child is one of those, like, you know they're gonna do art, band, chorus, STEM, can't think of another one.
That's it.
Yeah, then let's go ahead and have a conversation so we can piece it together. Okay, but yeah, you'll get sick of that.
How much time do you have for 8th graders right now?
You know, we finished our conferences for juniors, which is
Yeah.
nice.
You want to come sit with us?
Yeah.
Come sit with us.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, just
We'll
make some
find time.
We'll make
find
time.
okay.
So a quick question about the grades. Does it depend on the elective, do they get number grades versus?
You do get,
fail?
no, you get number grades.
Yeah.
You do. And an elective, so let's say that I love math, which is kind of a surprise, and I take 5 years. So I take, in my junior year, I take pre-calc honors and AP statistics, and my senior year, I take AP calculus. Surprisingly, AP statistics is an elective course because I took it beyond what was required. So core classes can become elective. So for students who are like, I love math, we can load them up and take care of their electives that way. Same with sciences. A lot of kids will take 5 years of science because they want to do AP Chem, AP Bio, like they just love science, elective classes.
And the same thing goes for that, because you double up your 11th grade in math, doesn't mean you get a free pass in 12th grade. You still have to take a math class in 12th grade, even though you have, so.
Okay, so give me my last slide and we'll be done. Okay, so some of the things in high school, they get a lot more freedom, and we want to slowly open the door. And we'll open the door slowly, but from 8th grade to 9th grade, they'll feel like it's the floodgates is open. So just keep that in mind. Great opportunities to succeed or fail. Okay, so we're trying to help them learn how to use their time wisely. When they go to college, they're gonna have a lot more time, and you're not going to be there saying, go do your homework. We're going to try and help them learn how to manage time. Okay, the time that you have at school, the time you have at home. We have a great 8th grade or 9th grade team. They are so good at helping the kids, but they are also going to hold them accountable. So they will do everything they can to over-communicate. These are the things you need to do, these are the things you need to do, much more than you would ever have a senior teacher doing. But if they cannot follow the guidelines, they will hold them accountable, not turning in homework, there's the 0. Now, they would have given it a grace period and reminded them 27 times, but just understand it's a great, great team and they know what they're supposed to be doing to help them learn how to be a high schooler, but part of it is holding them accountable. If your child is going to be absent, okay, they're sick, Lori Stromey needs to hear from you as to why they're not at school. A lot of times the kids think, oh, I can just email and say I wasn't feeling well, and that's an excuse. No. We need to know why they're not at school, okay, but you do not need to be reaching out to their teachers. The child needs to be saying, I am not at school, what is my homework assignment, okay, but we still need to, I said that once and the parent thought, oh, the child is gonna now say I'm not at school. I'm like, no, we still need to know why. I have 2 children that one is organized and one is the most unorganized child in the world, so I have the opposite ends of the spectrum. Helping your child figure out how to organize themselves, they may not be the agenda kid, fine. Help them figure out, do I put sticky notes on my tablet? Do I put an Outlook? How do you organize yourself to know when you have tests, what your homework is? If you can help reinforce that at home, because again, it's not as obvious in high school. We're trying to wean them off of the middle school teacher, like really laying everything out. They will have a way of knowing. There's one note, there's the blackboard, but it's not going to be as transparent for you. So helping them learn how to organize themselves and write it down can make the difference between a great freshman year and a really bad one. So anything you can do, please help us with that. And we're talking about student involvement.
I will say this with the organization, what I've noticed with boys especially, is that they don't struggle in the classroom because of lack of like understanding material. It's just understanding how to be organized and how to study. And most of my sophomore conferences, like after freshman year sophomore conferences, I was pretty much talking a lot about study skills.
Like, this is how you need to study. This is why you are struggling. It's because your studying is clicking while you're staring at a tablet through slides and thinking that that somehow is getting into your brain, when it's not at all. So for students to understand that they're tested a certain way, they need to study the way that they are tested is really important. But also just being organized enough to keep up with their assignments. If they can come in and really fight to like have these skills or build these skills, if they don't have them, we will work with them, whether it's requiring them to go to office hours and following up to make sure they do, getting them to have planners. Freshman year, I had 4 or 5 boys walking in and say, "Here's my planner, Mr. Smith," and I'm like, "What's that scribble scrabble in every single box? I don't understand what is there." I'm like, "No, I want your teachers or you to write down what your teacher said to do, even if they said there's no homework. I want to see no homework." And so I had boys coming and showing me their planners every single week to make sure that they were doing that. So building those organizational skills, those study skills, is really important. It can be a mountain to climb for some of these kids, freshman and sophomore year.
That's it. That's all my questions. I know you have 5.
You have fun?
I don't have 5.
Oh, I don't have fun.
No, I don't have 5. Or second period.
How many students are in 9th grade, and how many new students come in?
That is an excellent question. I have no idea.
It's usually somewhere around, I think it'll be probably around 20 to 25 this year. We don't know. Coming in.
What's the total class size?
I don't even know what I don't know what the class size is now.
We have 105 right now.
105.
We're a small class.
Which is great.
We're a small class.
And
right now.
so I think, it kind of all depends. Like admissions is kind of a process where you kind of try to guess a little bit, because like you don't always, you accept students, but they don't always choose you to come to their school. And so I think they're trying to have a class, because right now the current class of 9th grade is like 140 something.
Yeah, we'll be that
Which
big.
we can't, our school's not big enough to have another class that big, so I think they're looking somewhere around 125-ish.
Which right now, I have 58 girls and you have 60.
No, both 58.
So we hover around
Yeah.
120, we're above
We're about
120, so
120.
right around, which is
Yeah.
good, it's a good mix. It's a good mix, definitely.
Thank you. Any
We're
other
happy to
questions?
have you all. I see familiar faces, which is really fun. Having another sibling come on.
I don't know, y'all probably said it, but y'all stay with us the whole way. till
3 years.
3 years.
And they were like, Lou, out of the nest, go to the seniors.
I will say, stepping into that junior conference, having known them for 2 years is a great system. Because we'll know you by name, we'll know obviously you're doing very well. It's great. Okay. Thank you.